Okay, so let's talk about cousin marriages. Very interesting topic that came out. Now, there are people that actually agree with what Keir Starmer is saying, not because they want to marry their cousins, but because they respect multiculturalism and all cultures are equal. Now, that doesn't mean that you get to do what they do, by the way, right? No, no, no. What it is like what they do is beautiful and uplifting. If you try to do it, that's appropriating and disgusting. But basically, it's kind of like having that thing that only they get to have and you don't, right? Cousin marriages. I actually studied about why it happened. If you think about it, it makes sense in a medieval standpoint. Back in the time of medieval Europe, a family wasn't just a mother and a father. A family was an extended unit. Like you had the 10, 12, 13 people living together. And so, like, families included first cousins, second cousins, so on and so forth. And one of the most important things in the medieval time period was owning wealth, which usually translated into land, but not always. And the reason it was important is because you could literally starve to death back then. Like, people didn't have a supermarket where they could go and just buy stuff. It was more like you don't have land, you can't grow shit, you die. Right? There was no welfare, there was nothing. And so having land was not just a matter of status in society, but it was also a matter of survival. And so having a lot of children creates problems. Why? Because children marry. And when children marry, they have kids of their own. And when they have kids of their own and mommy and daddy dies, the wealth gets separated. And so imagine like someone having a large plot of land, they die, and he has 5 kids. Well, now that large plot of land is separated into 5 smaller plots of lands. And so in order to prevent the wealth from going outside the family, you would sometimes have cousin marriages. It's also one of the reasons why Habsburg emperors were retarded. Because they wanted to keep the power within the family. They would cloak it as, genetic purity or royal blood or whatever. But the reality, the real reason was that when you marry with someone, well, they sometimes get claims on your kingdom. They sometimes manage to split the wealth. And so, keep it in the family. But this was for a medieval time period with medieval laws. We don't live in that anymore, right? And so the reason most nations don't even have laws against cousin marriages is because most people don't do it. Right? Like people now marry out of love. They don't marry because of wealth. I'm pretty sure like some do, especially some ladies out there, right? But most people, they marry out of love. And when you marry out of love, you rarely get to marry your cousin. Now, why do you have certain groups of people in the United Kingdom that really enjoy cousin marriage? Well, they come from collectivist societies. In collectivist societies, what means is that you don't have the mother, the father, kicking out the son the moment he is 18 and telling the son, learn a trade, start making your own wealth, stop being a parasite on us, right? Get married, have kids, and do your own shit. And you only come home on Christmas and on Thanksgiving. Which is like the boomer mentality. And it's not just the boomer mentality, it's more of a neo-Protestant way of viewing things, right? Like, get kids to become independent. That's an individualist society. Collectivist society is like, no, all the family is together and it's the family against the world, right? So it's like our clan. And that family, as I mentioned before, includes first cousins, second cousins, so on and so forth. And so they're distrustful of outsiders. They're distrustful of anything. Like they have the family honor. And so when they go in another place and they don't want to integrate because they view that the local population is morally inferior, that they're degenerate, that stuff like that, and they're against integration, well, well, then cousin marriage becomes a thing, right? Like, you don't marry a degenerate, you marry part of the family. You marry in the family. And this is how you get enclaves, right? Like, this is how people don't integrate. This is how you get people that are stuck in their ways, by encouraging this level of shit. Now, we obviously know that there are medical repercussions for behaving like this. And any type of compassionate, sane human being would be against this. And as I mentioned before, most countries did not criminalize the act because normally people do not marry with their cousins. In the United Kingdom, however, it seems that it has become a problem to the point where such a law was suggested. But luckily for the cousin lovers, they have the pillar of the community, the best British politician in human history, Keir Starmer, in order to make sure that the cousin marriages happen. And so you need to wonder, why is that? Well, look, when you want to know why a person behaves in a certain way, you gotta wonder who has the money. Now, Keir Starmer, I don't know how much money he's making a month, but I assume probably more than he works for. Like, what does the Prime Minister do, right? Like, go in front of the camera, flap his mouth, sign a signature. He doesn't work like a trucker, right? Like, he doesn't work like a research scientist. Let's be fucking honest. Like, he is paid literally to feel important. Most Prime Ministers in the world are. And so, how do they get paid? Well, they get paid if they get elected, right? And so you need to wonder, who votes for him? Is the hard-working British person voting for him? Like, no, that hard-working British person feels exploited by him. Like, his money are being taken away from his wife and children and given as Keir Starmer's salary. They do not appreciate him, right? And so when you realize who is voting for him, you also find out why the Labour government is accused of, well, secretly backing cousin marriage, and why they also decided to block a vote to ban the medieval practice. It's not rocket science, right? Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.